Hi everyone, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. I'm your host, Dr. Haider Shah. On behalf of Calvas, I would like to welcome all of you to this webinar. Thank you very much for joining us. Today we have another very interesting topic, and I'm really honored to welcome and introduce our distinguished guest speaker who is going to talk about mental health and well-being as priority. In this session, we will explore the crucial importance of prioritizing the mental health and well-being in our personal as well as in professional lives. Moreover, we will discuss the strategies and insights to foster a positive mental health culture, promote self-care, and create supportive environments for overall well-being. So, how to have this wonderful life as healthier and happier. So, really very interesting topic, and I'm sure you will learn a lot from this session because we have an expert with us in today's this session. So stay tuned because an amazing stuff are coming ahead in this session. So before we start, I would like to thank Calvas for arranging such enlightenment sessions for their support and providing us such a wonderful platform. The aim of Calvas is to give you the opportunity to connect and interact with world-renowned speakers, academic leaders, teachers, authors, researchers, experts, professionals, and businessmen to learn from their experiences, recommendation, and suggestion, which will create an impact and will enable you to learn and develop yourself in order to grow and transform individually, as well as to contribute to the world in a positive way. As our slogan is come, learn, and share knowledge. So today we have an amazing person as guest. She is a educator at the North College, London Collegiate School, Dubai. She is also a leadership, teaching, and learning expert who delivers high energy coaching and mentoring sessions that challenge the client to leverage their focus and pay attention to what matters to them most at work and in life. Clients love her practical strategies they can apply personally and professionally. Students too love for lessons and enjoy being in her classrooms, often describing her as the energizer and the fun teacher. Along with that, she is a month away from earning her Master of Education Studies from the Australian University of Wollongong in Dubai and has completed the Certified Well-being and Mental Health Coach designation from Student Breakthrough, the ICF-accredited training provider in the UK. She has successfully led many professional development and parental training and workshop events. Her strong background in learning and self-development, leadership, and psychology makes her perfect fit when looking for someone to help with the stakeholders' well-being. Moreover, it's pertinent to mention that she is a certified Zumba coach. Why does that matter? Well, it means she is a dancing lover and a little cheeky. She also considers herself an extrovert who would always find someone in the room to chat with and a really slow runner. Last but not the least, she is a wonderful speaker, author, teacher, researcher, professional, and above everything, a great human being. So please help me in welcoming our guest, Ola ElKhatib. Welcome to the Canvas platform and thank you very much for joining us.
Hello, Dr. Haider. Thank you so much for the very generous introduction. Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for coming today. I'm hoping that this is an appropriate time to start.
Yes, please. And you can upload your slides and yes, it will be visible. Yes,
Sure.
so a gentle reminder to the audience that Ms. Ola will present and she would leave time for question answer at the end of the session. If you have any question, you can write in comment section or you can email us at info@callwas.com. So over to you, Ms. Ola. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Haider. Hello, everyone. I'm sure you are all aware that we are currently living in a very, very fast paced world where there isn't enough time for reflection, there isn't enough time for the being, although we are always human beings. But we tend to think more about the doing more than the being, which can really impact negatively our mental health and well being. Therefore, this session is a reminder for all of us, including myself, that what matters to us the most, ideally, should be who we are and the human being that we are rather than the doing. Because the more we focus on the human being, the more our doing and our actions are aligned with who we are and are also aligned with the desired outcomes that we're looking for. It's really not something new to you all, or even to me, that the world now we live in requires us sometimes to do actions that we don't feel like doing them. But I'm here to reassure you that the more you focus on who you are, and the more you uncover the treasures, the hidden treasures within you, and the more you are aware of yourself, the more you will be able to have control over your actions, and the more your actions will be aligned with your values, with what matters to you the most, and therefore, the more well being and mental health you will enjoy. So it always starts with self awareness, and it has to start from there. Although it sounds a little bit selfish when we say you have to start with yourself. But as we also say, you cannot pour from an empty cup. And I'm sure you all know the example when you are the analogy when you are in the airplane, and let's say there is emergency, God forbid, and you need to save others. Well, here's the thing: you need to save yourself first before saving others, and you need to wear the oxygen mask yourself before you help even the little children who are around you. And therefore, it has to start with self awareness. And what we mean by self-awareness, some people find this word triggering because they think they just need to work more and work harder on their areas of improvements, or what some others call it weaknesses. Well, research shows that coaching or gaining more awareness and clarity on what went well is even more effective than coaching and gaining more clarity and awareness on what didn't go well. So it doesn't necessarily mean that you will be talking negatively to yourself. Actually, it's the opposite. Self awareness just means to understand the why. Why are you here? Why are you studying this program? For example, if you are still a student, if you are a professional, why are you doing this job? If you are a parent, why are you parenting, and why are you choosing this style? So understanding the why behind everything is what leads you to become more aware of who you are as a human being. And then hopefully it also leads to enhanced well-being and mental health, because then you're more aware of who you are in a way that is constructively helping you to make sure that your actions are very, very much aligned with your core values and with your beliefs. So, when we talk about self awareness, it's really important that you are aware of your strengths as well. Just like I shared earlier, it doesn't just mean to focus on the negatives. Self awareness is so needed, and it actually starts and it has to start with your strengths. Because when you're not sufficiently aware of your strengths, you tend to have a blind spot. And when you have that blind spot, it's really hard for you to reach your full potential. And sometimes, unfortunately, many opportunities out there can be blocked due to our lack of awareness of our own strengths. Um, our own strengths will always relate to our core values. So, for example, if you are good at public speaking, or you give very good speeches, you will find that it always comes from a core value of yours. For some people, it's honesty. They are just too honest, and that's why they like to speak to people, and they like to do public speaking. For some people, it's love, because they love the audience and they want to share with them. So here we go. Whatever your strength is, you should always know the core value behind it. And that is so important, because you could be already doing all of your strengths and practicing them. But when you mindfully link your strength with your core value, your well being and your mental health will dramatically improve. It's important also that you are aware of your triggers. And what triggers you can sometimes be something very, very, very silly that you haven't even been conscious or aware of. And why are the triggers important for us to learn about? Because they tend to influence our behavior, our emotions, our feelings. And unfortunately, if we are not sufficiently aware of them, they don't just influence us, but they can completely control us. And that is harmful for us, not just mentally and emotionally. It can be also very harmful for us, even professionally, because let's say you are a customer service. Or a customer support agent, and then one of the clients just shared something that is one of your triggers without you being aware of that, the whole conversation might take another path that you didn't want the conversation to go for. But due to the lack of self awareness of your own triggers, that trigger has just taken over. So therefore, I highly recommend taking this free survey. It's on via character org. I will share the link in the chat so that I'll share it with Dr. Haider so that you can all access it afterwards. And after answering a couple of questions, this survey is going to show you your character strengths, and then you will be able to link them yourself to your core values, because some of them are actually values. Sometimes it will tell you that your top character strength is honesty, for example, and that's where you know that you are an honest person. But the problem is sometimes when you are not aware of those strengths, you think of them as a liability. Whereas when you are sufficiently aware of them, you know how to, you will know and you will learn. It's a journey. Self awareness is a journey that never ends, because every day you are a different person, actually. You are, your cells every month are renewing. You are completely a different person every, let's say, 5 years. Your beliefs, your values, your triggers, even, it's so that's why self-awareness should be a habit rather than a destination. It's not a destination where you are like, I have arrived and I'm now aware of everything, because every day there are different actions for us to take, different options for us to choose from, different events that happen around us. And therefore, when you are mindfully utilizing your core value, let's say of honesty, you will learn the best way to use it without having it as a liability. You will learn when to be a little bit more diplomatic, when to share half of the truth rather than the full truth, which is something people who are extremely honest struggle with. But that's why it's really important to have that very, very high level of self awareness. When we talk about self awareness, there are also 5 elements of self awareness. So there's the self concept, and there is the thoughts, and there are also the feelings and the body, including your body language, including your facial expressions, your ability to make an eye contact with people. The conceptions also you have about your own body, how you perceive it, your self image, and finally emotions. And I know that for some people it's a question, what's the difference between feelings and emotions? Well, feelings is a little bit easier to understand. If you are hungry, for example, that's a feeling. If you are cold, that's a feeling. Emotions can be somehow deeper. So for example, um, if I'm if I feel a little bit sad for saying goodbye, for example, to a colleague at work, then that's more of an emotion. What's the problem here that we tend to lack awareness of sometimes? Is that the feelings can sometimes associate with emotions and shift into triggers without us even knowing. So let's say I have had a very tough meeting with my line manager at work, where I was, by coincidence, just completely by chance, during that very tough meeting, I was feeling cold because the AC was on 16, let's say. So the problem is, if I don't deal with this situation with enough awareness straight away afterwards, or even a little bit of time afterwards, it can turn into trigger, meaning that whenever the room is cold, which is a feeling, I will have the same emotions I had into that tough meeting. Maybe I'll feel frustrated, maybe I'll feel very upset, uh, which is how a very simple feeling like being cold can trigger us without even being sufficiently aware of that. So it's really, really important that it always starts with self awareness. Your mental health and well being are not just about being more on holidays, are not just about enough sleep, although sleep and holidays are so important, I agree. But your mental health and well-being, even in the holiday and even when you are sleeping, will be always impacted by your awareness of who you are as a human being and not as a human doing. So who you are, what do you believe in, what are your strengths, what are your triggers, how are you feeling, what image do you have about your own body, what are your thoughts that you constantly say to yourself, are they positive, are you communicating with yourself in a positive way, are you embracing learning over blaming, are you dealing with your emotions the way they should be dealt with, and so on. So I really cannot reiterate enough and cannot emphasize enough on the importance of self-awareness. It really has to start from there, and it will always be there, because here is the fact: you can never control everybody around you. You can, if you are a teacher, you cannot control your students. Well, you try to influence them, but to control their inner thoughts, to control the way they treat you 100%, that's very, very hard. If you are also working, let's say, in a company, it's very, very hard to control the way your clients will deal with you, because everyone represents themselves. And if you are dealing with your managers or with your bosses, it's also very hard to control them. You can influence, you can try to influence, but to control somebody 100%, that's completely impossible. I'm sorry, I have to say. So therefore, you can always control yourself and focus on what's in your hands, and that will definitely enhance the influence that you're looking to achieve on others. So there are many models to do that. After you have done your survey, let's say you have completed the survey and you know now that I have honesty, I have kindness, and let's say I have innovation as my top three strengths. Okay, so honesty, kindness, and innovation. But I know that due to my current position, for example, at the company, I am not even able to enhance these three strengths or make a full use of them, because I feel that my current job or my current position is limiting my authority, and I need more authority to be able to influence other and show these three actions, or those three strengths. So there are many models to help you with that. I will just very quickly explore, and then if you are happy for me to go through one of them more, you can always ask for that in the time of the Q&A. But for now, I will just briefly explain some of the models for that. The first one is the OAA, and I like it because it reminds me of my name, Ola. So it starts with awareness again. But then once you have gained that awareness, that enough awareness, you need to move on to the ownership. Rather than being in a state of mind where you are blaming others, blaming COVID, for example, uh, my business hasn't been successful because of COVID, or let's say, well, I haven't been able to get the promotion I wanted at work because my boss doesn't recognize my achievements, or whatever it is. There are always millions of excuses that we can be telling ourselves forever, right? But the moment you decide to take ownership for your own awareness, for your own strengths, and based on them, and to achieve your own goals, the moment that the right actions will show up for you. And if you're not there yet, if you haven't taken the full ownership of where you are and who you are yet, it means simply there's no judgment here at all. Self development is a journey that we take, and we have setbacks and we progress again, and then we go to the back again. It's a journey that never ends. It's from day one in life, from minute one, second one in life, until the last breath we will have before we die. So it really is a journey that never ends, and there's no judgment here at all. If you think that you're lacking ownership and you're not feeling completely responsible for where you are and you are still blaming others, then perhaps you still lack awareness. You just need to go back to the awareness and understand your core values more, your strengths more, so that you're able to take that ownership. And once you are there, the right actions will appear for you. I mentioned earlier that let's say I have innovation, but I'm not able to use it at work because I don't have enough space for that. Well, once you take your ownership for your own core value and strength, the right action will appear for you. And sometimes it doesn't have to be within the context of your full time job. It can be something you can use your innovation with outside work, maybe a side hustle, uh, maybe something you do with your community, with your neighborhood, with your friends, at the church, at the mosque, whatever. It doesn't really matter where. What matters is you just take ownership for where you are now, and then the right actions will appear for you. And if you, again, if you take an action and it turns out that it was a wrong action, you just go back again to the ownership. You own your mistake, you take responsibility for it, and then another action will appear. And then there you go, try again. If you again struggle to take ownership for that action that didn't go well, then there you go back to awareness. So it's really a very straightforward model to speak about, but to implement in life, it's not easy, yes, and it takes a lot of trial and error. But have fun with it. That's the thing. When you realize that self development isn't something that you're going to do for some time and then stop, when you realize that I have to do it for the rest of my life until the day I pass away. So have fun with it, then why not, right? So awareness, ownership, actions. That was the first model. Another model is the grow model. Let's say I'm now sufficiently aware of who I am. I know my core values. I know my strengths, and I want to achieve something. So I set a goal, and then I explore what are my current situations within that goal, what's my reality, what's going to help me get there, and then I move straight to the options. And with the options, I think about all the actions that I could do given my context and my reality to achieve that goal. And some options will be best or better than others. So you're going to focus more on them as a start. And then you evaluate those options and then you decide on how to move forward, the way forward. So, goal based on your self awareness, reality, your current context, your current situation within that goal. Where am I? Am I at the moment? And then my options, how do I get there? And some options will be better than others. And then the way forward, which includes evaluating those options after having implemented them. And what's the way forward? It's again very similar to AOA. It's just a different style or maybe a different perspective, but in reality, they're all the same. They're all about continuously improving yourself, constant development, and enhanced self awareness all the time. There's also the burger model. I don't know why the picture went on the previous slide as well. The burger should have been just here. So there is also the burger model, which helps you to enhance your happiness through focusing on future versus present. This allows you to understand how your actions are aligned or not with your goals or with who you are. How is that? Let's say I'm eating a very tasty burger. It's so yummy, it's the best, but it's full of fats, full of carbs, and full of cholesterol. So there you go. You have instant happiness right now while you're having this burger, which is the present moment. But your future isn't likely to be a better one because you ate that burger. So that's a one way. The other way, let's say I'm eating a very bad burger. It tastes awful because it's made out of it's plant-based. It doesn't have any fats. There are no carbs. I'm just eating a piece of plant-based burger wrapped with lettuce, and there isn't even cheese. There isn't even tomato. It tastes very bad. It's healthy. It's going to influence my future positively, maybe, but certainly it's not helping me in the present moment. And that is not what mental health and well being is about. Because when we embrace the mentality of mental health and well being, we want you to have them both. What we want you to have is to enjoy the present moment in a way that allows you to build a better future for yourself. So, how would that be here in this example? It would be simply by making a delicious burger that still has the tomato, maybe a slice of cheese, not too much fats and not too much carbohydrates. Some people make the bread with almond flour, with coconut flour, and some people don't even use the bread at all, but they still enjoy it with adding more vegetables, more sauce, things that are not too full, not too stuffed with carbohydrates and fats, but they are still yummy, they are still tasty, and they are very likely to enhance your present moment as well as your future. So that's the other model for the burger model. And you can really implement this everywhere. You can implement it at work. How is this action going to help me at the moment? And how is it going to help me in 2 years or in 5 years or in my next quarter appraisal? Whatever that is, you can always be the lead and you can always hold the steerings, right? The steering wheel. It's up to you how to use it, but you can always just think about where to implement this. So far, we have covered the AOA, awareness, ownership, and actions, and then the GROW, which was goal, reality, options, way forward, and then the burger model, where we always focus on making the most of the present moment in a way that enhances our future as well. And then there is what I like to call the DD do model. DD do sounds like cartoon. So this is more for let's say more about communicating with others. Let's say now you have been very sufficiently aware of yourself and who you are, but you're looking for ways forward to communicate with people. So this model helps you not to feel very overwhelmed and frustrated when you're having a conversation with someone. You need to think about a division, or let's say separation of the conversation to three parts. The first part will be the discover. Let's say I come to you with a complaint. I bought from you a vacuum cleaner last week and it doesn't work. And I'm so upset about that. So first, you're going to ask me questions to discover, because otherwise, if you just say, "Well, I think you just maybe didn't plug it right. Just go and try it again," that doesn't help, and that will make the customer more upset, and then the conversation might escalate badly. So the first best way is to always discover, engage in active listening, and use questioning to explore. And then you identify an area where we both can focus on. So let me ask you, did you plug it, sir? Yes, I did. I plugged it well. Well, did you make sure that electricity plug was working? Is it working? Did you try something else in the same and it was working? Yes, I did. Okay, what was actually not working? Is it the sound, or is it the light, or is it the ability to just like take in stuff, or is it everything? It just doesn't work. So we discover, we play around the issue, and then you start to deepen around the problem. Why are you here for? Then what do you need? What would you like me to do for you, for example? And then finally, when we agree on the action, we can go ahead and agree on it and do it actually. Let's say in the end we decided to try it first in the shop. Can you please bring it and I'll try it with you, you see? And then it's still not working. Okay, how about we change it for you? And then the client maybe doesn't want to change it, they want a refund. And then we back check to, we go back, we check the agreement, and yes, the agreement says that they have the right to return stuff within 14 days. So that's fine, or whatever it is. So it's just really important to think about the other party of the trouble or of the problem before jumping into conclusions, because that will always backfire. And when it backfires to us, we will always feel that we haven't done a great job. We haven't been able to communicate. We haven't been able to use our strengths. So when you allow yourself to do the DD do model, you take time to reflect and you also mindfully use your strengths, which enhances your well-being. Another model for well-being is the Perma, where you think about your overall your overall life, really. So you think about positive emotions, engagement, relationships, meaning, and accomplishment, and finally health. I will go through that with a little bit more details, but I will be quick because I know that we should be receiving the questions in about 15 minutes. So I'll be quick to go around it. So the positive emotions. Some people think that we need to be happy all the time, which is actually just not true, because negative emotions can also always give us a hint or heads up about a situation that's about to happen that we don't necessarily want it to happen. So the negative emotions are sending us messages just as important as the positive emotions. And the normal ratio is three positive emotions versus one negative emotion. So if you are constantly feeling that your day is more about negative emotions all the time, then that's a sign that there is more of awareness that you need to enhance about yourself and about your current situation so that you can change that into a better reality. But if your ratio is three positive emotions versus one negative emotions, let's say within, I don't know, it's up to you really to decide according to what time you want to measure. Some people like to measure it through the day. Some people like to measure it maybe work versus personal life, like work versus home or work versus with friends or whatever it is. And then for some people, when they actually look at where they are, according to each of the contexts, it helps them to identify where's the area they need to enhance their self-awareness on. So it's really up to you to decide where and how you want to measure it. But if you have three versus one, three positive emotions versus one negative emotion, then that's a good sign that you are doing okay and that your well-being is at a good level. There is also the mood meter, or the zones of regulation that people are encouraged to use to be able to address their emotions and feelings. And then there are the top 10 positive emotions, which are on the blue picture on the slide. And harnessing those top 10 emotions has a very positive impact. When you enjoy more joyful moments or gratitude or whatever it is, all of these 10, research shows that those people are having long-term health outcomes, because what's in your heart and what's in your mind will always impact your physical health. And they also enjoy 78% less mortality. So you live actually longer when you enjoy those positive emotions. They also broaden your awareness. This is what I love about self awareness and self development. Self awareness isn't just about thinking of who I am, self awareness is about the being. The more you enjoy these moments of either joy, pride, amusement, inspiration, hope, interest, serenity, gratitude. The more you enjoy these moments, the more your awareness itself will be enhanced and broadened. They also enhance your novel thoughts, so your ability to be creative and innovative. They enhance your activities, and they enhance your relationships as well. So that's the P in the Perma model, positive emotions. It's really important not just to reflect on the negatives. What's going well and why did it go well is also very important. The second letter of the model is engagement. So P, positive emotions, E for engagement. And when you think about engagement, you really need to refer to the psychological rule of the law of energy preservation. If you want people to engage with you, you really need to make the task feel as easy as possible, as easy as humanly possible for them. And you need to make something in that task that is rewarding for them. So that's the key to engage with people and to enhance your engagement. Your conversation with them doesn't require too much effort from them. You make it as easy as possible if that's your goal, and just a successful conversation, and make something in it for them, a reward for them. Let's say your task is another one, which is to, for example, ensure that your clients are engaged with you. It will be the same. You need to make the task of engaging with you or with your product as easy as humanly possible, and also rewarding for them. Engagement is a flow, really. And when we are engaged, we experience the three elements of the high performance triangle. And those are creativity, learning, and productivity comes at the top as an outcome for being creative and learner. We experience also when we are engaged, we experience timelessness, where we don't feel the time, effortlessness, where we feel that what we do, the level of the challenge is not as hard. And we also experience a hands-on approach where our heart and head are busy about this, but our hands is in it. We also feel a sense of mastery. We feel that we are good at this. Relationships are also important. And as you're aware, leadership is influence. Leadership is not about being at the top of the hierarchy. Leadership is really about your ability to influence others. And therefore, everyone is a leader, and everyone should be a leader, because relationships are always also about influence. How do you positively influence others and motivate them? And here are the three key elements to be able to do that. You need to make others feel that they are safe, seen, and that they belong. And the more you do that, the more your well being will be enhanced, because your relationships will be improved. People will appreciate you more, and you will feel that you are a valuable person who brings a true value. So when you focus on relationships, focus on how you lead others by influence and by example. How do you make them feel safe? How do you make them feel seen? And how you make them feel that they belong? Research says that only 15 to 25 individuals that you will meet in your life course who will dramatically or massively contribute to your success. So the more you enhance your influence on others, the more you are likely to have a positive relationship with them that makes you potentially one of those to 15 to 20, one of those 15 to 25 individuals that are massively contributing to other people's success. It's really important to remember here to enjoy playfulness moments. All mammals do, and we are mammals, right? So playful activities impact your mental health and well-being, because they reduce self-consciousness, which is engagement, and they dissolve power dynamics as well. So if you are playing with your children, they will forget that you are the father and they are the children. they will just feel that you are one of them. So they really dissolve power dynamics, and playfulness activities are really important for relationships, which then enhances your well-being and mental health. There are also other techniques to enhance your relationships, such as active constructive responding, deep listening, vulnerability with boundaries, being honest about who you are and about the challenges that you're going through, the pocket compassion, the empathy upload. And the pocket compassion relates to the do model that we spoke about, because you tend to ask questions rather than give ready answers. And that's really important for leaders. The more you ask questions and empower others, the more you enhance your influence, your relationships with them, and then your own mental health and well-being. So here we go. The do is so important. Okay, M in the Perma model is for meaning. And by meaning, we mean is what you do aligned with your core values, with your strengths, with who you are, with your beliefs. So you really need to make sure that you are making sense of your experience, that it's adding a value to who you are and to where you want to be, and that your cognitions, behaviors, and thoughts and purpose in life are contributing to something bigger. And if you are to view it as a ship here, it will be based in security. Are you secure where you are? And the growth, are you moving forward? Are you learning? And then moving forward is the contribution. Are you contributing to something that's even bigger, that's even broader than just your current position? And if not, if you don't have enough meaning, that means this could be why you are struggling with mental health and well-being. And that means you need to go back again to the self-awareness. For accomplishment, we really need to think like little kids, and we always need to take those baby steps of improvement. Are you able to celebrate success and small wins? Because if not, that could be why you are struggling with mental health and well-being, because you don't have enough recognition. And if it's not enough recognition from others, again, it's going to be back to self-awareness, because you can never control others, but you can always control yourself. There could be something that you are unconscious of that doesn't make others recognize you. And then once you are aware of it, the right action will appear for you, and you will have that influence on others so that they recognize you better. And then the more you're able to celebrate your small wins and recognize yourself first, the more your well-being will be enhanced, and hopefully the more that others will be able to recognize you as well. Setting small achievable goals is really important. Some people like to write them. Some people, they just, and that's a very creative way that I learned recently. Some people just like to set their goals within a song, link their goals to a song, and then just listening to that song on a daily basis gets them motivated enough to achieve those very small outcomes. And then your ability to celebrate them is so important. Finally, the last of the module is H for health, which then goes back to your ability to sleep well, your ability to exercise, your ability to enjoy time with nature, outdoor time, and really your ability to complete your daily activities, because you are at a level of physical health that allows you to go to work and to enjoy your life afterwards as well. So I'm not going to say what to do here because it's obvious. Maybe I should. If you feel that you are struggling with your physical activity or with your sleep, you should really consult a doctor, because with health, you really need to go back to the experts who have the specialty within that. So we have covered some models today. We have covered the AOA, and then we have covered the GROW model, the Burger model, the DD-DO, and then the PERMA model. I hope that this has been insightful, and that you have managed to maybe have an idea of where you are at the moment with mental health and well-being, and where you should ideally be. And I am done here. Thank you so much. I'm just waiting for Dr. Haider to brief me on the questions. So it looks like Dr. Haider has left. I'm going to say goodbye. Thank you so much for being here today. And if you have any questions, you can send them to Dr. Haider and we'll make sure that we will address them. Thank you.
Yes, she will be back in a while. Uh, yeah. So Miss Ola will be joining us shortly, and then we will start the question and answer session. So she is back.
Hello.
Yeah, thank you so much. Actually, there is a technological limitations and there were some internet issues, so that's why it happened. But really, Miss Ola, I enjoyed this session right from the beginning. What a title you have given to it! It's being before doing. It's so great. And what is being itself, and how to create awareness, and the link you created very nicely. And I love the way you just started it with the wonderful AOA model, that how awareness is related to it, how we can understand the role of the awareness, and then how can we take advantage in order to understand what stimulus us, trigger us regarding the feelings and the emotion, and most importantly how these models are affecting us. Whenever you are talking about the mental health and well-being, even you talked about that there is a general perception that mental health is only just depending upon the sleeping hours and the taking vacations. Very nicely you have quoted that it does have the role, but most importantly how you feel about yourself, and even your values, the core values, what triggers you, all these things actually matters a lot, because very nicely you have quoted that what we think, what we value also affect our physical mental health as well. And I think that's very important. And so many phrases which you used, I loved it. And it reminded me the business philosopher, the Jim Rohn, which is a famous author. He quoted in his multiple books that you have to improve yourself daily, and then weekly, the monthly and yearly, so that if someone meets you after 5 years, he gets the notion that you have improved a lot, not the way other way around, that you have deteriorated a lot. So very nicely you have mentioned the same thing, that you become a different person every day even, and you have a different things to improve yourself. And I saw this wonderful thing in your grow model, which you talked about how you are going to set the goals and trying to understand the context, which is the reality, and what you are going to do about it, and what are alternative options you have, and the way forward for it. Even whenever you were talking, the everything were connected in my mind were the different books by Brain Tracy and all other which I used to learn for my self development. And whatever you were referring were the same thing, how you are going to achieve the balance. I love this burger model, which is all about getting the uh, achievement and alignment, that how you are going to enjoy the present moment while keeping the future moments as well, which is very important. So to me, it was just looking that I'm talking to the full professor, and she is recommending so many wonderful things, because the knowledge you possess, the knowledge you have is so great. And I just felt that how how difficult way you have gathered such knowledge. You would have burned midnight oil in order to understand these concepts and these wonderful knowledge. So I really appreciate your wonderful knowledge, and the analogies you have given, the examples you have given was so great. And I really enjoyed this session with you. Thank you very much for such a wonderful explanation. And one thing more I wanted to mention is your wonderful content. I love your slides. It was so simple. At the same time, it was so heavy contented with the content. I enjoy that thing. And one last thing, which Jim Rohan also mentioned, and you mentioned in your presentation, that it is simple but not easy. This is what the Jim Rohan wrote, that the self-development transformation is a simple process but not easy. And this is what you quoted as well, that it is simple but it is a difficult process, and you have to create awareness, self-awareness first, and then you can do it. So really, I enjoyed this wonderful learning session. Even I learned so many new things from you. Thank you very much. And there is a lot of questions waiting in a queue, which needs your clarification and illustration. So should we start with the first question, please?
Yes, absolutely. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you very much. The first question they want to ask, this faculty member from the university, and he wants to ask that thank you for your wonderful presentation. Would you like to enlighten us that how can the workplace and particularly educational institutions create supportive environments that prioritize the mental health and well-being? Sometimes it is ignored in the educational institution. Yes, please.
Well, that's a wonderful question. Thank you so, so much for asking this. Well, first of all, you need to model happiness yourself as an educator, because you cannot pour from an empty cup. So your students can always tell whether you're happy or not, no matter how hard you try to smile or to fake a smile. If your smile is not coming from real happiness and not from a true desire that you want to be there with your students, they will always tell. And this is just the magic of the human mind. It's really the magic, because the human mind has so much abilities and so much potential that you cannot really fake your emotions. So number one, I would always say that educators must be happy themselves, and leaders must be happy themselves and comfortable with who you are. And that's, of course, is a journey of self-awareness and all of these. But really, I'd say start with yourself. Number two, if you're able to create a systematic approach where the students themselves are aware of one of these models. Let's say you want to implement the Perma, or you want to implement the AOA, whatever it is, involve students with the framework. And it doesn't have to take too much time, because we as educators are always lacking time. One of the smartest tricks here is that you can make it their problem and not yours. And that's just by me making it very interesting in a way that they will go home and do the work for you and come the next day prepared with it. It could be a poster that we put in our classroom, or in our lecture theater, or whatever. It could be a presentation, and everybody will take turns of, like, let's say 5 minutes of each lesson. It doesn't have to consume so much of your time, and it doesn't have to add workload to you as an educator, because I know that this is the last thing we need as an educators is more work. We always have a lot of work. But here is the thing, you can make it just fun enough for the students to get involved with it. There is, when I said the mood meter or the zone regulation, it's you can actually find it online. It's just like a thermometer, and it really shows you all the emotions and all the feelings, allowing you to express how you feel. What if we dedicate just the first two lessons of each, the first 2 minutes of each lesson for silence? Just enjoy the being rather than the doing. Let's do mindful breathing with our students. The way I do it is breathe in for 4 seconds, hold it for 4 seconds, embrace the emptiness of the lungs, and then out for 4 seconds, and then hold it, hold your breath again for 4 seconds. And it works like magic with adults. I did it in training sessions with adults. It works like magic with teenagers or university students, and it works even with little ones. I even tried with my grade 1 students, and they love it. It calms them down, and it sets the tone for a very positive environment. So I'd say again, model it yourself. Find a systematic approach where you can really involve and engage everybody, your faculty members, your colleagues, your students, and make it more of fun thing to do rather than more work, and make it more of the students' problem rather than yours, because they have plenty of time, not like us. And even accomplishing such a task can give them more experience. We already have the experience of the doing, but they need that. So you are helping them without adding more workload on yourself. So involve students and involve faculty members, create a systematic approach, agree on a framework, and start to implement it with everyone. And incorporate those mindfulness, breathing, and all of those small tips and strategies within your lessons. I'm hoping that this was of enough answer.
Wow, wonderful answer to this question, and I really enjoyed the way you have given is the a systematic way of dealing it, how they can involve and how can they can shift their workload and to get involved, and then the playful activities, the joyful activities, so that we can learn. And this is what the Franklin Benjamin also said that if you involve me, I will learn it, and this is how we do it. Thank you very much for enlightening us. And there is another wonderful question by another faculty member, and they want to ask that thank you for your great presentation. But we live in the technological era nowadays, and my students are always involved in the different gadgets through the technology. I think the technology also play an important role in supporting the mental health and well-being initiatives as well. Would you like to share your thoughts on how to use technology in a way for a better mental health and well-beingness? Yes, please.
Of course, there are plenty of apps that actually will send you positive quotes, reminders to whether is it your physical activity that you'd like to do, or whether it is your uh, drinking water habits, or whether it is your diet. You can always find them. And what I like really about using technology is that you can also use it as a way of good competition rather than I don't know, positive competition is good. So you can always share your score on a platform with your colleagues, but in a way that doesn't get too competitive, in a way that makes the entire idea of it lost. But you can always find that balance between yourself and how much you share with others.
Wow, very nice. I'm really enjoying the way you are giving answer. It's so great. Thank you. And now there is one another interesting question they want to ask. It's by the student, but still it is important for both the faculty and the student that Ms. Ola, would you like to share with us what are the key signs and symptoms of mental health issue, and how can we recognize and address them proactively, particularly sometimes at our home with our siblings as well? What a nice question asked by the student. Yes, please.
Thank you so much. Well, if you are struggling to sleep, uh, if you're having insomnia, if you are constantly dragging yourself out of bed to start your day, every day you feel so tired that you go to the doctor and the doctor tells you you are physically fine, you don't have any problem, you don't have vitamin D deficiency, you don't have low levels of vitamins, you don't have you don't have any problems physically, but you are still very tired to get out of bed in the morning, it could be a sign that you don't have the enough motivation. And if you don't have the enough motivation, it means that something is there inside you, is not so interested or not so invested in doing what you are doing, which means you're not enjoying the being at the first place. We are human beings. So think about, why am I doing this? And is that reason enough for me, or do I need to find another reason? Do I need to enhance my awareness? So the signs and symptoms, like I said, would be lack of sleep or too much sleep sometimes as well. If you feel that you want to just sleep and you don't want to do any other thing, that's another sign. The tiredness is really a sign if you are constantly tired for no physical reasons. And of course, that one is already, everybody knows it. It's already known, which is the sadness, the constant sadness. If you are crying every day, if you are not enjoying the three positive emotions versus one negative emotion, if you think that you don't have those three, but you're always having one of this after the other, so you constantly feel upset, sad, frustrated, angry, and you're not enjoying as many love moments or joyful moments or pride moments, all of the 10 positive emotions. So you should enjoy three positive emotions versus one. And if you don't have that, that is another sign that you are also lacking well-being and mental health. And there is no judgment here. It's a journey that every human being will go through. And if you just realize that you are lacking mental health and well-being, don't just get frustrated by the idea that I lack mental health and well-being, because that then will again increase your problem and it doesn't solve it. So my recommendation would be to always be friends with yourself, embrace who you are and where you are at the moment, because that will always be the key to move you forward. And of course,
Wow,
use these models. Working with a
wonderful.
coach can also help. So if you ever feel like you need that extra hand, extra support, we have been always there, all of us. It's not about because I'm young I need help. It's not about because I'm women I need help. It's not because I am man but I'm not man enough and I need to man up more than I need help. No, it's for everybody. Mental health support is for everyone who just simply has a goal and they want to be better. Who wouldn't, right? It's for everyone.
True, very true. Thank you very much. What a fine answer you have given again. And really, you have emphasized on a wonderful point, that is, the coach are always there. And it's not about that we are weak, it's about we are recognizing the lackness of something, and the people are there to help us. And this is how the humanity is. We are here to help each other, we are here to support each other, to facilitate each other. And this is a kind of profession, and you people are professional and trained in a way so that you can help the people, you can identify them, what are the triggers and how can they improve themselves. This is just like the doctors, they give you the treatment for the illness, so you people are doing the same thing. And I think your job is so challenging at the same time, because you are dealing with the such kind of not illness, but I would say a lack of awareness, which is not seen, and you try to diagnose it, you try to understand the phenomena, and then you treat the individual in a way so that they can understand, they understand and they create awareness about it, and then they start uh, uh, kind of cure for that problem. And I think this is the wonderful job, that you people help the people in a way that they can have the full exploitation, I would say, not utilization, exploitation of their gifts. Because sometimes, because of our these kind of small issues, we forget about our special gifts that have been given by the nature, by the god. And I think you people are doing the fantastic job, and they should consult with the people like you who are professional in order to solve their problems. And since you are a wonderful expert, and you already described this kind of things that which are creating problem, and our next question is somehow related to it. I know the time has already taken already, and We are close to close the session, but we are taking this last question, which you have already highlighted in your last answer. But they want to ask that, Miss Ola, would you like to share with us some tips regarding how to foster the resilience and emotional well-being in the face of adversity and work stress a lot? Because nowadays there is a stiff competition in every profession. So, would you like to share some of the things that we can foster our resilience to it? Yes, please.
You have to start with your strengths. You really need to embrace a strengths-based approach. Make sure that you undertake that strengths survey. It's for free. Make sure you dedicate some time. I know it's hard. I know. But here's the thing. Some people they just like to cut an apple with a knife that's not so efficient because they think they don't have time. Some people will say, "No, I will sharpen my knife first because that will make the entire process of cutting the apple goes faster. It will make it go faster." So which one are you? Yes, finding time is hard, but it's not just about the time you take. It's about how much this time you have taken will facilitate all the other processes that you're using the entire day for. So make sure that you dedicate that time for yourself, whether it's time to listen to music and think about what went well and how can I improve, whether it's just mindfully breathing and feeling your presence and really focusing on the present moment, whether it's writing, journaling. For some people, they like to write and journal what went well and what didn't go well and how to improve. And also improve your communication skills. Make sure that you are able to make people empathize with you rather than feeling that they are against you or that you are against them, because this will dramatically improve your well-being. Conflict is the last thing you need at work, and there is always a way. There is always a way to make sure that you are making people aligned with you and on the same side. Even if you are working with the most toxic boss in the world, you will figure out you will figure out a way to either deal with them in a way that doesn't make you sacrifice who you are but also doesn't make you sacrifice your relationship, or you will work on your strengths and with what you got until you are really confident to move to another better company. You see my point? So it's always about your strengths. Your strengths will either allow you to survive where you are by reflection and by constant improvement and by all of those techniques, or your strengths will make you squeeze lemon on yourself and work hard until you prove yourself and move to another company or another school or another university or wherever you are, because we have been all there. We know it's not easy, and work can really consume your time and it can really ruin your mental health and well-being, even in your personal life, not just at work, because we are the same human being at work and at home. We are the same. It's not like you are a different person at work and a different person at home. We are the same human beings. And if you are not feeling fulfilled at work, I am sorry to tell you that it will require more work from you and more time, but it will improve the rest of your time, either by being able to survive where you are, just like I said, or by finding yourself another reality. It will always have to be with your strengths.
Wow, wonderful. And I'm really enjoying the way you are giving answer and how great a coach would be when you will be trying to solve the problem for your client and in order to facilitate them and to help them. Really great. The way you are explaining is so nice. And I'm noticing that you are using very simple words in order to make people understand that what is your point. And then you related back to your content as well, which you have already described in a wonderful way. I think you are a wonderful elaborator, and you have explained in a very wonderful way. Thank you very much. I really enjoyed this wonderful session with you. And Ms. Ola, at the end of the session, we ask our each guest regarding their message to the world. So, what is your message to the world as a speaker, author, teacher, researcher, trainer, learner, professional, and educator? Yes, please.
Wow, that's a great question, Dr. Haider. Thank you so much. I was really in a conversation yesterday with a wonderful colleague whom I learned a lot from, and they unfortunately they left the workplace I work in, but then they got in touch a year after, and they were asking me for something, but then we also happened to discuss why am I doing this. So my message to the world is, if we are always trying to equip our next generation for the future, which we know is very challenging because we know our reality now is very challenging, why don't we also try to pave the path for them and to make reality easier and more bright? And the only way to do this is by focusing on modeling happiness ourselves. Because when they see us constantly just talking about be happy, but not happy ourselves, then what a shame, because we haven't paved the path for them. We really are responsible to make this world a better place for them and not just teaching and lecturing, because how bad we look if we say, well, we haven't really succeeded at this and we're waiting for you when we are in senior retired people, very old, waiting for you to fix the world. Well, it's our responsibility to do it now. Why shall we wait for the next 40 years? Let's try to do that now. Let's create systematic approaches to make life a better and a more just place. And that has to start with ourselves.
Yes. Wow, very nice message you have given to the world, and really wonderful knowledge you have of a learned person you are. And I think you have nicely mentioned that since we have the global citizenship, so we should be caring about this planet, and we should consider that how can we contribute towards the bigger cause. And this is that what we are leaving for the next generation. And very nicely you have quoted that. Are we are making certain path for them, and tomorrow we will be proud of ourselves that we did it or not, because it is our responsibility. Very nicely you have quoted that, really. And I think we should be playing our part, because we are answerable to our part, and if we are doing it our level best, so I hope that this world and this planet will become a better place for upcoming generation as well, and they will be proud of us that our seniors were great enough that they did their best to make good life for us. So thank you once again. And Miss Ola, please share that how can our audience reach you and find you for future correspondence and etc. Yes, please.
Yes, sure. Thank you. I'm available all the time on LinkedIn. They can just type Ola ElKhatib, and I will send you my LinkedIn profile so that you can share it with them as well. And I will also send you the character strengths survey so that they can do it for free.
Yes, that's nice. That's wonderful. So we will also mention your LinkedIn profile in the description of this video in a recorded form, so that people can easily find you through your LinkedIn profile.
And I will share
So
my email with you as well in case they prefer the email. I'll share my email as well.
that's wonderful. So we will put in the description of this video your LinkedIn profile link, as well as your email address for easy correspondence with the audience for further elaboration and guidance. So to the audience, there's please do follow our distinguished guest speaker through her work, and you can email her for future learning and guidance. She is very generous and always ready to help the people. So that's all we have time for today, and thank you once again, Ms. Ola ElKhatib. And I would like to thank our audience who joined us. If you have any additional questions about information shared today, please email us or connect to the speaker directly through her social media profile, the LinkedIn profile, or the email, which we'll be mentioning in the description of this video. Thank you all for your support and liking our session. Stay tuned as many sessions are on the way. Please do not miss any session. And next session, take care of yourself. Bye bye.